From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. As Joseph Biden, your president, says he's ready to send out checks. And these would potentially be automatic checks, including checks for seniors. I have all the incredible great news in this breaking news report, live and direct from Santa Monica, California. The wholesale producer price index number released, and I told you that inflation's going higher. It did. I predicted 8% last month, higher this month of January, last month of January. Well, guess what? It came in at nearly 10%. I have the latest details and what this means for your recon. We'll go over the incredible recon of the Build Back Better Act that passed the House back in November, now in the Senate, but also in the Senate, something else. CR for Stimulus 1.0 and 2.0. The budget bill for Congress is in the Senate and is likely to get done in the next few days. Will they put in a stimulus check as we've advocated for it like they did in 2020? And will they use the opportunity of CR for Stimulus 2.0 that's set to merge with 3.0, the Senate changes everyone is talking about? Then we'll be turning to the big money of this big recon. And then we'll be talking about third stimulus. That's still paying out a lot of money to viewers of this channel. Viewers are getting new rounds of money. And you're going to meet two viewers, including one named Nisi. Nisi is one of the original viewers of this channel who got fortunes of money under third stimulus when it became a law last year. Well, that money's still paying out, and she's an example of someone who got money for it yet again in the last few days. Then all the latest breaking news about everything you need to know about what's going on with the Russia-Ukrainian border situation and its impact on CR for Stimulus 4.0. Plus, SS200, the ability to get that big money out the door, and the repurposing of money by President Joe Biden, his opportunity. I'll examine that as well. It's a big, bold, beautiful broadcast. It's live, and it starts right now. And here we go. Good morning, everybody. It's a big, bold, beautiful day here in Southern California, and I'm live with you with the fourth stimulus recon that passed in the House, now sent to the Senate. And also sent to the Senate is CR for Stimulus 2.0 that is there now with 1.0. Meantime, 3.0 is working up in the Senate as well, throwing opportunities. But what about that Russia-Ukrainian situation that was CR for Stimulus 4.0? Will it survive amidst the breaking news minutes ago? The latest details on that. We're going to go over all these incredible checks in this recon that pays at least $60,000, and then third stimulus repaid under fourth stimulus. Oh my goodness. I'll go over how you can get that big money right now. You don't have to wait for it because the toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee is brewing. Also brewing is the deliciousness of not butter, but SS200. I'm going to show you how President Joe Biden can give this to you a lifetime. Not 6 to 12 months as promised by Liz and Joe, but now being detailed on this channel. This is the SS200 that we've been talking about for 2 years, and it's heating up in a broadcast today. Then we'll be turning to the big money that the president can repurpose. Wow, we have a huge recording today. I'm excited you're here. And this, my friends, is LALATE. You're watching the #3 most watched financial news channel in America, and I need your help. I need your help, so go under the video and subscribe to bring us to #2. We're pushing to get to #2 in the nation. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member of Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Also sign up for those LALATE alerts, totally free, the link to which is under the video's description. Let's go over the recon of the Build Back Better Act passed in November, now in the Senate, by looking at each of those incredible checks before we go into the CR for Stimulus equation, and those checks has a lot of money in there. At least $15,000, but upwards of $60,000. 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. Let's start with the first cluster. The first cluster has in there hazard pay. This is for my essential workers, the EIC that was expanded under third stimulus. It's currently law on a third stimulus, but they want to do it one more year under fourth stimulus. Learn about it at irs.gov. Also, the CTC, the child tax credit for young children in a low-income family, $3,600 a year. They want to do that one more year. Learn about that as well at irs.gov. $4,000 of elder care, got it in there. $4,000 of care for young children, got it in there. $550 checks for college students on the Pell Grant, got it in there. And then the incredible $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, got it in there. They got a lot of checks in there, and there's 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. That was the first cluster, but what's the first add-on? It comes from here in Southern California, and you know who got it for you? Maxine Waters. It is money to buy your first home. It's incredible. It's one of the most exciting and most popular provisions ever covered on this channel. She got in there just a little bit less than $25,000 for your purchase of your first home, given from the federal government to the seller in your name at the time of escrow. Wow, it's huge. Let's go now to the second cluster. Home repairs. Wow, this is to weatherize your home so that you are in that festive President's Weekend decor. You want to put up lobster shorts everywhere for President's Weekend. And then they got in there paid leave. Paid leave is a lot of money. What is it? Paid leave is if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness due to you or a household member. How much does it pay? It pays a fortune, folks. It pays $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. If you make $35,000 or more per year, it's $800 a week. If you make $15,000 or more per year, it's $400 a week. How many weeks? 4 to 6 weeks per year. So yeah, this is a lot of money. $4,000 to $6,000 a year. W-2, 1099, you all qualify for these incredible sums of money. And the great news is that if you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, they're going to get the money as well if they have to take off from work to take you to the doctor's office and pick up my bacon on the way home. That is the second cluster of checks. Now, what is the second add-on of checks? You know who it came from, Bob Casey. He got this money in there for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. It's huge. Never offered before under Medicare. Now got it in there. How much is that number? Right in the live chat right now. I see it. Someone just wrote it. There you go. It's about $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities across the board. Wow, it's incredible. Campaign promise from Joe Biden got in there from Bob Casey. Let's now go to that third cluster of checks. You ready? Oh my goodness. Deliciousness. More deliciousness than those bacon roses that I did not get for Valentine's Day. Did you not know where to send me my bacon roses? Let's go with that third cluster. They got in there free internet. They got in there the money for the farmers, the money for the independent contractors, the money for the free internet. My goodness. And then they got the money in there for the seniors. 2 provisions added on the House, but others coming on the Senate side. On the House side, they got the Medicaid gap fix and the hearing. But on the Senate side, they vowed to add dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which is par for the course of what we're talking about with the senators adding in checks across the board. Among the checks they want to add in there are automatic adult checks, MSC. And Joseph Biden is saying very clear he wants every check that is in the recon to go out as soon as possible. And now there's an element of bipartisanship where both Republicans and Democrats are saying out money, trying to get money to be sent out to win the midterm elections. It's very fascinating. So what is MSC? If you're in the live chat, write those 3 letters right now. MSC refers to monthly sugar-free chocolate cake. No, it refers to monthly stimulus checks where they come out from IRS. These are checks that come out from IRS on a monthly basis, automatic, and they're in addition to the $50,000 to $60,000 checks already in the Build Back Better Act. So who gets them? Well, the legislators have told tens of thousands of viewers of the channel since May of last year that the eligibility would be the same as a third stimulus check. So let's go over the incredible details right now. Single individuals, if you make $75,000 or less, you would get these MSCs. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you would get these automatic adult checks. Double it, because there's 2 of you. Family 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you would get these adult automatic checks as well. They are not income. They are not taxable. They are also offered for adult dependents, and they come on a nationwide basis, not on a state-by-state basis. So if you don't like your state governor, don't worry. He ain't sending you the check. Then, of course, the big question is how much? Well, these percentages represent to tens of thousands of viewers of this channel the following calculations: $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. And the Purple Hawks, we are circling, ready to pounce and get those big sums of money. We've been advocating across the board. But as Purple Hawks, we've been advocating for understanding how to get checks into anything since the very first day of this channel. And it dates back to CR for Stimulus 2020. And 3 weeks ago, I brought it back on this channel with CR for Stimulus 2022. And boy, it's been the talk of the town. Let's go over the details of what's at issue. To insert an MSC on the Senate side, they would have to modify the legislation, which they've still not done, in those Senate subcommittees. The senators represent they have a lot of stuff to add in there, in addition to MSC. And they would do that during Senate subcommittee, then send it to a Senate floor for a vote, then a 2-day vote-a-rama. That event has not happened. So I looked high and low 3 weeks ago. I said, you want to bring back, and before I even finished the Senate's view, it said, CR for Stimulus? I said, yeah, how'd you know? It was the chocolate cake. We're thinking the same way. And viewer said, bring it back. So we brought it back. Now we have not one, but 4 CR for Stimuluses at issue and potential to get you that check. Let's go over what a CR for Stimulus is. If you're new to this channel, I'll explain it to you right now. And then we're going to go over the latest updates about each of them. It's changed in just the last few hours. It's huge. CR for Stimulus started in 2020. It was my creation, but let's go a little bit before it even was created. In spring of 2020, the pandemic hit, and we had a first stimulus package. You spent the money, and then you needed more money. And so you were told that there was going to be a second stimulus package by the Democrats, and the negotiations started in the spring. It was a package, thousands of pages in length, and negotiators on behalf of the Democrats were Nancy Pelosi out of San Francisco, Speaker of the House out of New York, Steve Mnuchin, on behalf of the Republicans, then Treasury Secretary. The negotiations started in the spring, no deal. Summer, no deal. Fall, no deal. Winter, no deal. And by Christmas, well, not Christmas, December, I said, you know what? I'm not liking this. We've been doing this for 11 months and we don't have no deal. So I look high and low to figure out a solution. And what did I want? I wanted something of the following. I no longer wanted a package. This package was too big. It was thousands of pages length. Second, I wanted something bipartisan. This was not bipartisan. Third, I wanted something that had an inherent deadline. This had no deadline. I want something that can be done very quickly. And then I found it. A continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution? Every 3 to 6 months, the federal government must pass a continuing resolution. It has a lot of different other names, but that's generally what's called a CR, continuing resolution. It's a fund of the federal government. The reason I liked it is because, 1, it's a bill. 2, it's small, a couple hundred pages, not a package and thousands of pages. It goes by bipartisan support, and it has an inherent deadline because they do it within a few days, a few weeks, maybe a month, but they roll it over 11 months because they can't. The federal government would default. So I made the thought process of how I was going to advocate for it. I made a preparation to make the recording. And then on air in December 2020, I made the announcement to the viewership of this channel, what I was going to say and what criticism I was ready to endure. And I said, hey, everybody, it's LALATE. And it's December 2020. And we've been looking at that second stimulus package since spring of 2020. And it's been 11 months. I think we need something else in addition to it. And here's my creation. I came up with the idea overnight. It's called CR for Stimulus. The idea is to insert a stimulus check in this continuing resolution that has a December 2020 deadline. If we insert it in there, well, guess what? They're going to do the CR. It's going to get out. It's going to become law, and that check will come to you. Do you like the idea? Viewers love the idea because it had a deadline. It was quick. It was easy breezy. It made sense, and it was not something they could kick the can on. And with that, we advocated CR for Stimulus. If you're in the live chat right now, write the hashtag campaign. Immediately, without a blink of the eye, the criticism came on in against me. I was ready for the criticism. The criticism against me said, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, LA. It's a continuing resolution. It funds the federal government. It doesn't fund the American people. It does not belong in there. A stimulus check does not belong in a CR. I was ready with my response. You're right. You're exactly right. Because it doesn't belong in there. But that doesn't mean it can't belong in there. Since the beginning of time, Congress has passed legislation where they insert monies into things that don't belong in there. And during the pandemic, they were notorious about this. They had a COVID relief bill that proposed money for foreign military governments. They had a COVID relief bill that proposed to do a new FBI building. They had a COVID relief bill that proposed to expand the Department of Copyrights. they're going to start a stimulus check in there for us as well. And so we advocated, and then we woke up one morning and suddenly it was maybe in there. We were told that stimulus got into the CR overnight. We looked and we realized, oh, it's unemployment stimulus. It's not a stimulus check. It's wrong. We need to push again. And so we pushed, and finally it got in there. It became a reality. The $600 stimulus check that millions of Americans got from the federal government was the creation of me and this channel. I came up with the idea, and the viewership of this channel advocated for it and pushed. I made history, the viewers made history, and the check was history. Guess what happened? Second stimulus never happened thereafter. Second stimulus fell apart. Never got a bill, never got a vote, never got a payment across the board. So 3 weeks ago, I delivered back on air the advocacy to potentially advocate for CR for Stimulus 2022 once again. This time, a late February deadline for another budget bill. This time, 11 months of negotiations. Again, 2 people negotiating. And I said, you want to do it? And viewers said yes. Well, the reaction was positive because within less than 1 week, we saw the House Democrats saying, you know what? We like the Build Back Better Act. It's good. But we need other economic recovery to be done right away to deal with inflation, price escalation. And while we support Build Back Better for stimulus recon, we need this to go out. And within 24 hours, I delivered the breaking news on air that it had passed. The House of Representatives had passed. CR for Stimulus 2.0. Sent to the Senate, the news got even better as the senators said, and these are Republicans, that they have their version that's going to merge with the 2.0 out of the House. My goodness. Then I started delivering the advocacy for CR for Stimulus 4.0 using a Russian sanctions bill. Well, overnight, very confusing statements, and even the last few minutes, very confusing statements about the situation in Russia. Is the situation in Russia no longer warranting sanctions? Is the situation in Russia now over, or is it not over? And how does that impact CR for Stimulus? We'll go over the breaking news about that live on air after the commercial break. Then we'll be turning to the brand new numbers as well that came in minutes ago about the wholesale producer price index, the PPI. It came in astronomically high, and guess who predicted this for you? I did over a year ago. So inflation got worse last month. This is your inflationary benchmark, the month of January. Then we'll be looking at what the president can do to get you SS200. And this would not be months of it, 6 to 12 months as promised. This would be lifetime. How to repurpose money. And then we'll be looking at the success stories one viewer got more money from third stimulus again. And she is one of the viewers who I feature on this channel every day. She was listening and she got another round of money. You should be doing it as well. This is the exciting details of what's on this channel, and third stimulus is heating up in the second half of this video. Stay to the very end as I show you how to get big checks, and those checks are available right now. It's a big, bold, beautiful Mornings LALATE. It's live from Santa Monica, California, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. But first, my friends, here's a little bit about the community page. I'll see you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on the second half of this morning's LA Live from Santa Monica, California, as CR for Stimulus 2.0 passes the House, sent to the Senate, where the Senate says they're going to merge it with 3.0. And that is in addition to the incredible Build Back Better Act, the forced stimulus recon with those automatic adult checks, MSC. Wow. We have incredible great news in the second half of this video. The programs of all these checks I'm going to go over with you in the second half of this video. And we're also going to go over the checks you can get today. One viewer who I feature on this channel almost every single day for nearly 8 months got more checks overnight. This is what we do here. We cash checks, not track checks. We'll go over all those incredible details. Then we'll go over the opportunity to do SS200, to get additional checks out from the President of the United States. This is in addition to everything that Congress can do. We have a big recording today, and we'll have the latest breaking news about Russia, Ukraine, and the Producer Price Index, which is about inflation. It all happened minutes ago. I'm excited you're here. This is LA, and first, I need your assistance. Oh, we don't need any frame wars. We don't need frame wars. We need you to subscribe. Go into this video right now and hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that features the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. So many details, so much to go over. And with that, let's go into the big second half. I'm excited you're here. We're going to pick up with where we left off with CR for Stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4.0. First, let me go over 4.0, because this is really breaking news in the last few minutes. CR for Stimulus 4.0. The concept of this is inserting a check, again, into something that's bipartisan, small, quick, imminent, has inherent deadline, easy to do. And it's the Russian sanctions bill in the Senate. We had seen about this. We had covered this for over 2 weeks now. I think it's almost 3 weeks we've been covering it. And its supporters are bipartisan. Marco Rubio, Republican, Florida. Bob Menendez, Democrat. And it's small, just a couple hundred pages, to sanction Russia for putting 100,000 troops at the Ukrainian border. Has an inherent deadline because you want to do it before Russia invades. And it makes really good sense. I had told you that Bob Menendez said it was going to get passed, I think almost 2 weeks ago. And then it didn't. It was not on Chuck Schumer's short list of things to be done by the end of this week. I'm trying to keep track of which week we're on. This week. So Bob Menendez had a meeting with Chuck Schumer last week saying, Chuck, you need to get it in there. And guess what? 2 days ago, I said to you, well, it looks like now, based upon new reports, that Vladimir Putin's going to invade Ukraine by the end of this week that you're in right now. So you need the sanctions bill to get done before he invades. Well, there's breaking news minutes ago, and it's mixed bag news. Let me go over it, because the situation is very fluid, and I want you to understand where we are right now. First, Vladimir Putin initially, over a month ago, had 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border. Then he started bringing in a lot of other military forces into the seas and the air. That was in addition to it. So the 100,000 was the initial proliferation of troops. Then there was that second massive entry of troops. Well, earlier today, before sunrise this morning on the West Coast, Russia pulled back many of those troops at the border from the Ukrainian border and sent them back to their military bases. Many of the 100,000 troops. Immediately, people thought that the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine had ended and had resulted in an end of all these tensions. Not so true, says NATO, which we have to default to NATO for knowing better than anyone else. NATO says it does not believe that this is a de-escalation, does not believe the situation's over, and thinks that this may be sort of a false pretense that Vladimir Putin's trying to potentially trick people with. So, is CR for Stimulus 4.0 in the Senate still on board? Absolutely. And guess who spoke about it yesterday? And I thought I had the quote on air, but here I do. I do have the quote. Lindsey Graham, the voice of reason, never. But today he is. Lindsey Graham, today's voice of reason for like the next 10 minutes, and then after that, never again. Republican Lindsey Graham says you have to do the Russian sanctions bill right now. What are we waiting for? I'd like to hit it. I'd like to hit him now for the provocation and have the sanctions spell out that very clearly. We're taking way too much time and we're doing too little. When did Lindsey Graham become so on point about everything? Is this really Lindsey Graham? Maybe he stopped wearing Mitch's lobster shorts. I just don't know. So he's right. They're telling us the invasion is imminent. This was a quote before today, obviously. But they're not telling Putin with clarity what happened if you invade. He should be punished now. So Graham's messaging is exactly what Bob Menendez says. You punish Putin for putting the troops at the border, not punishing him for not invading. This is, So, CR for Stimulus 4.0, still on point. Great news on that. And then, let's go to CR for Stimulus 1.0. Our original budget bill. The CR for Stimulus 1.0 is really looking really good at the moment. Patrick Leahy, I always forget the first name. Senator Patrick Leahy and Chuck Schumer. He is Vermont. The other one is New York. You want to advocate to them because John Tester, the Democrat from Montana, says if you get Leahy, Schumer, McConnell, and another Republican on board, the continuing resolution will pass in the Senate in the next few days. Really great news. All he says, we have to agree upon the price tag. It just takes a few hours to write up the bill, and we're done. And that is really great news. So you want to advocate to Leahy, that's Leahy, and Schumer, the following three things. One, do the CR for stimulus, do the continuing resolution this month of February. Do not roll it over. Number two, insert a stimulus check in there like you did in 2020 into the continuing resolution. We need it right now. And number three, insert it in there because guess what? You did it in December 2020 to get Raphael Warnock and his colleague, those Senate Georgia seats, out of Georgia. And Republicans also inserted it to try to win the Georgia seats as well. Mitch will insert a stimulus check in this additionally because suddenly there's a new bipartisan effort going on board. Let me explain what's going on. If you haven't watched this channel in the last 7 days, everything has really changed. Democrats and Republicans now both understand that the midterm elections, the Senate seats, will be won based upon the party that passes legislation to deal with the economy. If you don't pass anything, your party is out. So you have to pass stuff. No one's going to buy it based upon a promise anymore. We're a much more sophisticated society. And there's a new article out today. I didn't bring it on air because it's a little too long-winded. But it says that the Democrats believe they can go from the number of seats they have now to plus 2 seats in the Senate. They think they can pick up 2 more seats. The Republicans are trying to pull back to win 4 seats in the Senate. So both sides are trying to win seats. And the way they do it is by giving you checks. And that's why you have to really lean on them heavy and say, put that check in the continuing resolution. If you forgot, the 2 Georgia Senate seats went for a vote a month after CR for Stimulus 2020. That's why they put the checks in there, because they wanted it to help determine who to vote, to influence your vote in the midterm elections, in the presidential elections in 2020. All right, let's go to CR for Stimulus 2.0 and 3.0, and it's a big update as well. So 2.0 is the House version, and that passed about 2 weeks ago on a Friday, then sent to the Senate. The House version, led by Representative Pete Aguilar in a California Senate, and he's vice chair of the Democratic caucus, is saying that there absolutely must be pieces of legislation, economic recovery, because we need to deal with these issues like inflationary pressure, supply chain. They passed in the House, sent to the Senate. The reaction in the Senate is this new era of bipartisanship. Senator Todd Young, who is a Republican senator, said, "My hope is that the process will continue to move forward. The Democrats passed their bill. We can now go into conference in the Senate and come up with a piece of legislation that's reflective of what us Republican senators can pass. And then we'll work together as 2 bodies of legislation to pass to get it done here in the Senate and to get it done in the House." Wow, that's huge. All very changing by the minute and by the hour. I have a personal commentary about this. Stay with me to the final 5 minutes of this video. I didn't tease at the front of the video. I probably should have. Stay to the final 5 minutes of this video. I'll go over that as well. Then let's turn to the exciting details of the president's opportunity to give you SS200 now, 2 years after it debuted in the American landscape. SS200, what is it? Where is it right now? And where could it go? It debuted 2 years ago, almost this week, from Elizabeth Warren when running for president of the United States. She promised to reform the Social Security Administration, but also give you $200 additional per month on top of your existing benefits for 6 to 12 months. She also vowed to remove the income cap, the asset cap, the marriage penalty. She eventually introduced her proposal to the Senate floor, got the backing of Ron Wyden, W-Y-D-E-N, and Chuck Schumer. She bowed out for her run for president, and then Joe Biden said, I love Liz's concept. I want to keep it as part of my campaign promise, and he did. He kept it as part of his campaign promise and ran on that platform, SS200. Then he won the election. In his transition papers published at joebiden.com, still you can read them right to this day, he wrote he will be giving people on benefits an additional $200 a month because the situation is urgent. He didn't, however. A week went by, a month went by when he was president, and finally the Democrats said, you know what, you haven't gotten it done. We're going to do it with something we're going to call fifth stimulus, another recon that will go by legislation. And they were supposed to start it about 2 months ago. They haven't started as well. So now I have brought into the mix SS200 2.0. I'm going to show you how Joseph Biden can do this very simply for the SS200 part of the reform without an act of Congress, without an executive order, with simply a phone call. Every government agency is operated differently, but most of the government agencies are operating in a way in which if they want to tie their shoelace, they don't need Congress. They want to pour themselves a cup of coffee, they don't need Congress. They can do what they want to do. That's their inherent authority. They can get encouragement, but they have inherent authority. In the case of Department of Agriculture, they determine how they pay your benefits out, but last fall, Joe Biden picked up the phone and said, you're not paying enough money to Americans on SNAP. Pay more money. And they raised the benefits up 25% lifetime starting last October. It was only a phone call. What does he need to do right now? Pick up the phone again, and call the Social Security Administrator head and say, you're replacing the benefits benchmark of COLA with inflation. And that will give you, my friends, $200 a month on top of your existing benefits, not 6 to 12 months, but lifetime. That's a lot better than Joe and Liz ever promised, and it comes from the guy here in the blue shirt. Muddle blue. No, it's not muddle blue. I'm going to explain to you first how it works and then why it's so important. And you know what? It's a perfect segue to bring in the producer price index inflationary number that came in just about 5 minutes ago. So your benefits are paid upon a benchmark. And that benchmark we look upon every December for the next year. That benchmark is COLA, C-O-L-A. It doesn't work because COLA doesn't move. So many years, your benefits were the same year after year. No bueno, because you went to buy milk and the milk was more, but your check was the same year after year. So the concept is to replace COLA with inflation. Why inflation? Because inflation goes up more. And who told you this first? Only the guy in purple, myself. Last year, when we were talking about this pandemic, the Federal Reserve said inflation was going to be 1 to 2% in December 2021. It was going to be temporary. Remember this hand gesture I used to make? Because this was the chart that they used. And then it was going to go back down in January. Transitory, temporary, fancy word. I said, I don't buy it. No. Wall Street said it was going to be 2 to 3%. Transitory, come back down. I said, no. What did I say? I said 8% and not transitory, not temporary. It's going to be several months of it. I stayed with that. And I took a lot of heat for it. Guess what? I was right in December, whose number was released in January. And now I'm right again in February. Because guess what? We now see the January numbers. It was not temporary. In December, the inflationary number came in at 5.9%. The COLA came in at 5.9%. The inflation came in at 7.5%. I was predicting 8%, right on the money. I then told you, this is late January, that it ain't going to go away. When you see the January numbers in February, I guarantee you it's going to be 7.5% or higher. And guess what happened? The producer price index number, which measures wholesale prices, which is also a gauge of inflation, came in overnight, and it showed it at 9.7%. Oh, can you just sweat on that one number? Oh my goodness, 9.7%. Now, I've been teaching viewers how to do this yourself. You go to the market, I said, taught you about 2 weeks ago. But if you buy the same eggs, the same brand, the same market, the same quantity every week last month, and you see it going up 10 cents, 20 cents, 15 cents, you can do the math yourself. That's inflation. You can say it went from $3 to $3.30, that's 10%. Guess what? That's your 10% of what happened last month. You can do it this month as well. That's how you see inflation before Wall Street tells it to you. So This is why you want Joe Biden to do this. Now, one thing I don't think I made very clear to viewers when I first started talking about SS200 about a week ago was the following. The reason why this is so good is because when you replace COLA with inflation, which we're still waiting for the pure inflation number, it's still at 7.5 until we get the updated number for last month. But that's just the raise up now of $200 a month. If inflation is still hot at the end of December of this year, you're going to go up again. That number came in overnight. Overnight, a series of new analyst reports say that they estimate the inflationary rate in December 2022 will be about 4.2%. And they initially thought it was going to be 4.5% based upon last month's number. So they're keeping it still in the 4%. That means you're going to get another 4%. Let's recap. Your benefits is switched from COLA to inflation right now would go up 7.5%. Then if inflation comes out in and hot at another 4% next December, you go up another 4%, which would be about, another $100 a month. And this is huge. Joe Biden needs to do it. Now, let's go over what Joe Biden can also do. He can repurpose existing sums of money. And this was detailed several times on this channel in the last few weeks. The concept is very simple. Taking the money that's out there and sending it out and repurposing it for checks. Government programs established by act of Congress ran during the COVID weeks and months, and many of the programs have ended, but the money is still there. And the president can repurpose the money by simply making a phone call. It's as simple as that. It'll be featured more this afternoon on Afternoons LA and Evenings LA. Very simple. All you have to do is pick up the phone and repurpose that money. If you have found money from programs that are unused and the programs have ended, send me a private message. I see some of them as well. I'm getting all those messages together and delivering them to you later today. And with that, let's go over the details then of where we are on the fourth stimulus recon. So the president's Andrew Yates, who is his spokesperson, says he wants all the money of the fourth stimulus recon to go out as soon as possible. Biden is ready. And that includes anything that the Democratic senators want to add in there, which include automatic adult checks of MSC. Biden is ready. Now, the great news is that there is a lot of other checks on top of that you would qualify for. And as a Purple Hawk, you know what we're about on this channel. Cashing as many checks as possible, not just grabbing one check. And you're going to see one viewer in a second. Her name is Nisi. She took it to task overnight, and she got a lot more money. So let's go over some of the checks that are in this incredible Build Back Better Act. There is $10,000 raised to $72,500 of what you can deduct in state and local taxes of SALT caps. They got cheaper prescription medication in there, growing from 20 medications to 30 medications in year 2028. And this is Medicare Part B and D, cancer, authorized diabetes. $40 billion of free job training checks in there. Medicaid gap fix. They'll provide years of subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states. Now you'll be able to get that cheap insurance. They got in there the $65 a month for nutrition for people in school. The hazard pay, earned income tax credit, EIC, one more year, $3,600, CTC, child tax credit, one more year. And then they got in the housing provisions. Well, those housing provisions, to renew, home repairs, and to purchase your first home. But the other ones are a continuation of fourth stimulus. And the great news is that viewers continue to get these sums of money. These are checks you can cash today. I'm excited for you to cash these checks today. And thank you for staying to the later in this video because I'm going to show you these checks you can cash today. These are the checks that viewers got back in November. And underneath the Mornings LA graphic, at the very bottom, it says $20,000 Nisi. I don't know if you can see it under there. But she was one of the people who back in October, got $20,000 for rent at that round of rent. Well, viewers are now getting upwards of $40,000 from third stimulus. And where do you get it? 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. The keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage and utility assistance because of COVID. All that is in the newsletter. If you're not a member of this channel, become a member. The newsletter link is under the video. You want to do 3 months. You must reach out to all 3 places, 6 places. You must get applications on file, and you must do multiple rounds. More about those multiple rounds in a second. Here are the utilities. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000 a year. You want to reach out to all utility companies and ask for utility assistance because of COVID. SNAP, you want to get that money from food from Department of Agriculture. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000. Let me recap. $25,000 a year, which over 10 years is $250,000. And here, my friends, is Nisi. She got $23,000 in about October at the time from 3 items. She and Art Sullivan were the very first viewers to get multiple items. She was the inspiration for countless viewers after that. And at the time, Mark had 2 items at $32,000. I said, Mark was your third. Nisi had 3. Mark got his third, brought him to $50,000. Now he's at over $100,000, Mark. Lorraine, she was at 105. Now she's at 120. Well, guess what Nisi did overnight? Nisi heard what I said and got an additional round to bring her thousands, tens of thousands of dollars and more money. Let's go over what's happening here. Third stimulus passed in January of 2021. Had a lot of money in there. And the viewers of this channel cleaned up at the time. When I said I can get you $15,000, the average viewer got $45,000. People everywhere else, print media, broadcast media, they got the $14 stimulus check, they cashed it, and they closed the door, and they thought that's it. Because no one else was telling them about the money. This is what I do. I tell people about how to get money. And then during the summer, I said get another round because those are new months. So if, let's say the June, July, August rent months, some viewers did. But most of the viewers of this channel got the Christmas stimulus. We call it Santa stimulus on this channel. When I said in November, go get another round, viewers are shocked. They said, really? I said, yeah. Go back to the same organization, ask for another round, get the utilities because it's winter, it's gas, it's heating, it's all very expensive. Go get it. And viewers on average got 4 to 6 months of rent and 1 utility. It was huge. But about 2 weeks ago, I said, get another round now because we're in another year and there's still pots of money. January, February, March, April. I said, get out to May if you can. Can't get to May, then get it to April. Can't get to April, then get to March. If you're new to this channel, you just became a member. Open that newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Read down there. It features the 6 places you reach out to. Reach out to all 6 places. If you just became a brand new member, then if you get all 6 no's, which is very rare, then reach out to the nonprofits because they're refunded every January and get those sums of money. There was one person, what show was it? I think it was Evenings LALATE last night, which is a very big watch show at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And a viewer said something like, there's no money in my state. I said, please stop it, because that's so 2020. In 2020, I dealt with that every single recording. There's no money in my state. There's money in every state. I've gotten viewers money in every single state. And I've had viewers in the chat say, I got the money in your state. And the viewer wanted to stop it. And guess what? That viewer is not a member and just wanted to reiterate their mantra that there's no money. There's money, so go get it. And with that, let me go over some personal commentary and what to expect for the rest of the day. Personal commentary. You know, well, the last few weeks especially the last few weeks, people have been asking me, LA, will you run for president? Please run for president. And I really appreciate the comments. The people are unhappy with both political parties because the Republicans don't give relief equally. They give too much relief to businesses and not enough relief to individuals. And then the Democrats promise to do things, but then don't come through with a lot of promises. There's a lot of stuff that they sometimes, you just sort of think that they're just, I used to make the joke, but it's not sometimes funny. They want a book deal. They talk about things, and then suddenly they act like they never talked about it. Student loan debt forgiveness, there's a $10,000 offer from the president to forgive $10,000 student loan. It's $10,000. It's not 12 cents. It's $10,000. Take it. What are we holding out for? What are we holding out for? So a lot of people are wondering, you know, why are both political parties so broken? And they look to me and say, LA, would you please run for president? And I see the comments and they're really escalating. I'm very complimented by the comments. You know, early on, I would say things like, I don't like the heat, which is true. I still don't like the heat. And I'm not a big fan of air conditioning either, but you know, you can endure certain things. But I thought about it. I thought about it a lot. And at the place at which I'm at right now, I can't make that determination about whether I'd run for president or not based upon my health. So it's a very, I can't make the determination right now. But I really do think that you, me, Americans do need a third party. I do think we need a third party. I think this channel embodies the third party. I believe the Purple Power embodies the third party. I believe the voice is broken out there. Yesterday, one guy here in Southern California, very well-known guy, but I don't want to give him a plug in this video, even though I like him a lot, announced that he's running for a local office here in California. And he switched political parties. He supported George Bush, who I was honored by as a young kid, and is now switched over to Democrat. So a lot of people are just sort of, on the fence about both of their parties. We see this tension with Joe Manchin. We see this tension with a lot of people. Even we see with Lindsey Graham, who's as Republican as you can, and he says that his fellow Republicans are dragging their feet on getting the sanctions bill out, which is such a simple bill for Russia. So I do think we're owed a third political party. I'd like to see your commentary about it while I decide what to do with my situation. But I think we need a third political party out there that embodies putting the American people first and less about putting unborn people first. Isn't that a great campaign promise? Is that a great campaign speech? I will put you first before people who are not born yet first. It sounds like a Saturday Night Live sketch, but it's really the reality of the situation. Democrats are proposing, to put people who are not born first before people who have been just a few weeks. You just have to be alive 1 week for me to want you to vote. No, I'm just kidding. But that's why I think we need a better party. And maybe that better party will have better recipes for chocolate-free, sugar-free chocolate cake. And deliver you a little bit more bacon. Coming up next is Noontime. Today's Noontime will be live. So I will see you back in about 1 hour. Oh, exciting. I have to figure out what I can say. I'm running out of recipes. No, I will figure out something to say. Then we're back at Afternoons LA across the board and Evenings LA as well. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family. So subscribe, like this video, 2,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day. Stay positive, stay motivated, and stay advocating for the CR for stimulus and the Build Back Better Act. Have a beautiful day and stay with LA for more.